Right, hello and welcome to the Midday News on VOP TV. I'm Moses Humphrey. First, the headlines. Supreme Court dismisses Omagege's petition against Governor Oboriwori. Faan relocates headquarters to Lagos in Nigeria's best interest. FCTA to establish 1.7 billion naira smart secondary school. And now to the details. Well, just in Supreme Court, we begin the news with election matters. The Supreme Court, in a unanimous judgment today, dismissed the appeal brought before it by the All Progressives Congress APC and its governorship candidate, Ovie Omoagege, against the election of Delta State Governor Sheriff Oboriwori. The court, in the lead judgment delivered by Justice John Inyang held that Omoagege, a former deputy speaker, a former Deputy Senate President, failed woefully to establish that the election was invalid for alleged corrupt malpractices. Justice Okoro stated that none of the allegations against the March 18, 2023 election was established as required by law, while confirming Oboriwori as the lawfully elected governor for Delta State. The Apex Court affirmed the judgment of the Delta State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal and the Court of Appeal, which had earlier dismissed Omoagege's petition for want of merit. The Supreme Court has affirmed the election of the governor of Ogun State, Dapo Abiodun, the appellant, Ladi Adebutu, and the People's Democratic Party, PDP, prayed the Apex Court to compel the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to conduct fresh elections in the 99 polling units where elections were allegedly cancelled. The Appeal Court, Lagos Division, had in a split decision on November 24, 2023, affirmed Abiodun's re-election. The majority judgment delivered by Justice Joseph Ikie dismissed the appeal filed by the PDP and its governorship candidate. The former Central Bank of Nigeria CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele is slated to face an amended 20-count charge in the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory FCT Abuja today, Friday. As announced by the federal government, the amended charge, dated January 17, 2024, was filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC counsel Rotimi Oyedepo and three others representing the Attorney General of the Federation. Now recall that Emefiele was initially accused of alleged fraudulent procurement in August 2023 and had faced a 6-count charge, having pleaded not guilty. He was subsequently granted bail by Justice Hamza Muazu on November 22, 2023. The forthcoming arraignment is set to occur before Justice Muazu reveals an expansion of the charges from 6 to 20. This increase is attributed to new counts concerning the fraudulent award of contracts to Emefiele's wife, Omoile Margaret, his brother-in-law, Omoile Makombo, and other associates. Vice President Kashim Shettima has urged African leaders to work towards increasing the $3.1 trillion gross domestic product of countries on the continent, amounting to a paltry 3% of the overall global GDP. The Vice President gave the charge during the African Economic Scale Plenary on the sidelines of the ongoing World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. He regretted that African trade was still hovering around 3% of the world trade. According to him, African economies must understand that the continent must begin to add value to primary products like cash crops and step up to secondary and tertiary product manufacturing. He, however, told African leaders those economies of scale portend the ability to do more by coming together and forming a more formidable unit. with a bigger voice and stronger negotiating abilities. Well, to security matters now, at least 2 persons have been killed, while over 70 houses were set ablaze in a communal clash between 2 communities in Kogi State. The communities involved in the communal clash are Otokpo Ojile and Ochi Ibadan, under the Ankpa local government area of the state. Well, VOP TV reports that trouble started when some villagers in Ochi Ibadan allegedly killed a man from Otokpo Ojile who was returning from Lagos to his village, Otokpo Ojile. Aggrieved with the death of their son, some youths from Otokpo Ojile, in a reprisal attack, went straight to Ochi Ibadan and allegedly burnt down houses and properties worth millions of naira. The spokesperson of the State Police Command, SP Williams Aya, who confirmed the violence, says that one Samuel Peter and one other person were killed by a mob. He added that a detachment of policemen had been deployed to the place. From Kogi to Katsina, where 2 female students of the Al-Kalam University, Katsina, have been abducted. A statement released by the head of public affairs of the institution, Akilu A. Atiku, says the students were kidnapped on Monday and that information regarding the circumstances of the abduction was still scanty because the incident happened outside the university. The statement, which was contained in a special bulletin of the university, also said the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Nasiru Musa Yauri, stands with the family of the students as they navigate through the difficult situation, praying to God for their freedom. Were abducted on Monday on their way to Katsina State from Niger State to resume academic activities at the university. They were among passengers traveling in a commercial vehicle when the abduction took place. Well, kidnappers invaded a Nigeria Post Army estate in Abuja on yesterday night and kidnapped 2 people. The incident, which happened at about 10 p.m. in the Phase 2 area of the state, had kidnappers who came into the estate and took away the wife and one of the in-laws of one barrister Cyril Adikwo. According to Austin John, who is a neighbor to the victim, the kidnappers came in and started shooting while they invaded the barrister's house and took away his wife and in-law, while the barrister escaped. The Federal Capital Territory Administration has earmarked 1.7 billion naira in the 2024 budget for the establishment of a pilot smart secondary school in the FCT. The FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, disclosed this in Abuja yesterday at an event organized to celebrate the accomplishment of public school students in the FCT and the accomplishments in academics and sports. Wike, who was represented by the Mandate Secretary, Education Secretariat, FCTA, Dr. Danlami Hayo, said that the move was to align with global trends in digital teaching and learning. He explained that the smart school, which would be located in Kashi, a community under the Abuja Municipal Area Council, would be equipped with boarding and digital facilities for e-teaching and learning. He explained that the 1.7 billion naira was part of 13.1 billion naira approved for the renovation, rehabilitation and construction of new schools in the FCT in 2024, I beg your pardon. The minister said that the project, if successful, would be expanded to other schools within the territory to improve the quality of teaching and learning. You're watching the Midday News on VOP TV. Coming up, Supreme Court gives final verdict on Delta governorship election. Now, this story and more when we come back from this break. Well, it's still the VOP news at noon. Femi Adesina, former aide to ex-president Muhammadu Buhari, has disclosed that ex-Senate President Bukola Saraki plotted to seize the leadership of the National Assembly in 2015. Adesina said Saraki plotted with former House of Representatives Speaker Yakubu Dogara and ex-Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu. He said Saraki worked with the People's Democratic Party (PDP) lawmakers to get the necessary figures because most senators of the All Progressives Congress (APC) were not with him. Adesina disclosed this in his book, Working with Buhari, Reflections of a Special Advisor, Media and Publicity, 2015 to 2023. The former presidential spokesman, however, said Buhari was unhappy with Saraki and Dogara's emergence as leaders of the National Assembly. The Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, Faan, yesterday disclosed that it relocated its corporate headquarters from Abuja to Lagos to reduce expenditure. This is contained in a statement in Abuja by Mrs. Obiageli Ora, Director, Public Affairs and Consumer Protection, Faan. According to her, Festus Keyamo, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, gave the order for the relocation with a view to stopping the waste of public resources. She said that the Faan management, alongside stakeholders, which also involved the unions, agreed that the action was in the best interest of the authority and the country. The National Identity Management Commission has temporarily suspended front-end partners from engaging in the National Identification Number enrollment. This is because the Commission is currently carrying out a revalidation exercise of these third-party registration centers. The Director General NIMSI, Abisoye Koka Odusote, disclosed this while noting that NIMSI has identified multiple infractions and unwholesome practices in the process of national identity number enrollment and modification. Koka Odusote revealed this at the opening of a 4-day training for the first batch of newly revalidated front-end partners in Abuja. He assures participants that revalidation is aimed at improving the enrollment process and addressing outstanding debts owed to the front-end partners. The DG stated that many infractions have been reported, with a significant number attributed to front-end partners. Where front-end partners provide enrollment services nationwide. Meanwhile, the decision to direct the revalidation of all PEPs was not targeted at anyone or group. It was a step towards sanitizing the system and process while ensuring the integrity of data in the country's identity database. It was also one of the steps towards proper auditing of the claims made by some of the FEPs. Professor Olukayode Bangboshe of the Department of Environmental Management and Toxicology, Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, has called for collective action in the fight for a healthier environment to significantly diminish the human footprint on Earth. Bangboshe, according to a statement yesterday, made the call during the 84th inaugural lecture of the university held at the Professor Oluwafemi Balogun Ceremonial Building. In his lecture, Bangboshe emphasized the imperative of acknowledging and addressing the escalating environmental impact caused by human activities. He recommended increased governmental funding for universities to sustain ongoing research on identifying and mitigating human impacts on the environment. Business, entertainment, and sports will be coming up shortly. Stay tuned. In business now, the Securities and Exchange Commission and Federal High Court have greenlight GlaxoSmithKline Consumer Nigeria PLC's plan to buy back shares from minority shareholders. Now, this follows GSK's announcement in August to shut down Nigerian operations and transition to a third-party distribution model. Minority stakeholders, shareholders, approved the buyback at 17.42 per share, 17.42 naira per share, paving the way for the listing from the Nigerian Exchange Limited. And now to entertainment. Nigerian musician Paul Okoye, aka Rude Boy of the P Square fame, has advised Nigerians to take responsibility for their safety. The singer said this was due to the worsening insecurity across the country, reacting to the government's inability to protect the lives and properties of Nigerians. Paul advised Nigerians to take security precautions. And still on entertainment, Mabel Markle, the wife of comedian A.Y. Markle, took to social media to state that her life was at stake, thus confusing some fans and making others worry. Now, she made this statement. She stated that she had been receiving threats on her life and was taking the matter to the police. However, she did not name any names. Now, following the revelation, Mabel and her husband, A.Y. Markle, unfollowed each other on Instagram, thereby creating an impression that a cryptic post was centered around her marriage. In sports now, Nigeria Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen was adjudged the man of the match for the game against the host Ivory Coast, while the Nigerian side defeated the Elephants of Ivory Coast by a lone score by defender William Troost-Ekong from the penalty spot. The Napoli attacker was brought down in the box, and Ekong did well to convert the kick and gave the Super Eagles the maximum points. Osimhen was given the Man of the Match award, and he said he was proud of the team during his reaction to the game. Former Nigeria Super Eagles coach Sunday Olise has heaped praises on Olaino for his outstanding performance against Ivory Coast. The Nottingham Forest gave a good account of himself in the keenly contested encounter played at the Alassane Ouattara Stadium in Abidjan. William Troost-Ekong netted the only goal of the game from the penalty spot after Victor Osimhen was brought down in the box. Now, still on sports, two-time African Player of the Year, Nwankwo Kanu, has said teams are now afraid to play the Super Eagles of Nigeria following the 1-0 win over Côte d'Ivoire at the 2023 AFCON. The Super Eagles picked up 3 valuable points to push the Elephants down to 3rd place, courtesy of the William Ekong's goal from the spot. Nwankwo, an Olympic gold medalist, hailed the players and coaches for putting up a dogged performance to silence the hosts at the Stade Olympique Alassane Ouattara. So we congratulate the Super Eagles once again for that victory. And that's all on the midday news. But before we go, here is a quick recap of our top stories. And now a recap of our top stories. Supreme Court dismisses Omoagege's petition against Governor Oboriwori. Faan relocates headquarters to Lagos in Nigeria's best interest. FCTA to establish 1.7 billion naira smart secondary school. And that's the news. I'm Moses Humphrey. Good afternoon.